especially earthquakes that have focused world attention on the cities once again. The catastrophic earthquake that rocked Haiti on January 12, 2010 was unprecedented in its destruction and the misery that it caused. More than 220,000 men, women, and children lost their lives in the afternoon quake. At least 300,000 were injured, and millions were left homeless. The shallowness of the quake, only 8 miles deep, and the poor construction methods used in buildings made Haiti's massive casualties inevitable. Haiti was a disaster waiting to happen. Haiti's fragile and poorly designed infrastructure was virtually destroyed. Water, sewer, some roads, electricity, telephone, and other communication systems were essentially knocked out or severely damaged and unusable, bringing the nation to a standstill. Then on February 27, 2010, an 8.8 magnitude earthquake struck off the coast of Chile, followed by a deadly tsunami. This quake was almost 22 miles deep, but still 1.5 million homes were damaged or destroyed, and between $15 billion and $30 billion in damage was done. The city of Talcahuano was hit hard by a triple tsunami, generating massive waves 18 feet or larger. Close to 80% of Talcahuano's 180,000 people are homeless, with 10,000 homes uninhabitable and hundreds more destroyed. The mayor said, "The port is destroyed, the streets collapsed, city buildings destroyed." Then on April 14, the Icelandic volcano erupted, spewing an ash cloud all over most of Europe, shutting down air travel for a 6-day period between April 15 and 20. The main focus of the news was on the distress of nations as business people and holidaymakers were stranded all over the world. But the hidden story is that of other essential services and supplies. The Icelandic volcano and its aftermath provide a revealing insight into the fragility of advanced, interconnected societies and their utter dependence on nature's goodwill. Manufactured goods, pharmaceuticals, and other critical freight stacked up in warehouses around the world, waiting for flights to take them to their intended destinations. Fresh produce for European markets rotted in the packing houses in Africa. The problem for modern advanced societies is that they are utterly dependent on air freight for just-in-time supply chain logistics. These supply chains enable the delivery of perishable consumer goods or components critical to manufacturing processes very close to when they are actually going to be used. The more globalization there is, the more vulnerable cities are to the disruptions, and the more difficult it is to manage them and recover from them. Huge cities, dependent on outside goods for survival of millions of residents, can become crippled very quickly when there is a major disaster, fuel shortages, or other breakdowns. When these supply chains are unhinged, dependent businesses and hundreds of thousands, even millions of people are affected. Imagine what would have happened if Europe's air traffic would have been grounded for another week or two because of a persistent volcano. As we near the close of probation, and as natural disasters become more powerful and destructive, as predicted in prophecy, the human toll and the stress on these societies is likely to be substantial. As populations have concentrated in large cities and become globally interdependent, it is not difficult to imagine the catastrophic consequences of globalization should a natural disaster disrupt supply chains to these large societies. A well-placed disaster can very quickly disintegrate even a highly developed social infrastructure, because these social ecosystems are actually quite fragile. While the earthquake that devastated most of Port-au-Prince, Haiti, was an example of this effect on a single large city, the Icelandic volcano suggests a similar potential impact on a very large interdependent society. On Saturday, September 4, a 7.0 earthquake hit Christchurch, New Zealand, destroying about 500 buildings and causing between $2 and $4 billion in damage. The earth moved 11 feet sideways, Buildings had been built to minimize casualties in such a quake, which yielded no casualties. We have seen a series of natural disasters in quick succession roll across the world in recent times, affecting large cities and whole societies. The cities at the end of time are death traps. Imagine if multiple natural disasters simultaneously disrupted the social fabric of a large number of megacities. If there are prolonged fuel shortages or food shortages, people living in them could panic. Soon, food would be stripped from the shelves of shopping centers and supermarkets. The human suffering, violence, and other socially destabilizing difficulties would be very dramatic.
As the book says, that in the last days there will be wars and rumors of wars. So in order for the Bible's writings to come true, these things have to take place.
Definitely some serious warning signs with all the natural disasters, and it's kind of going right along with the timeline that they give you in the book of Revelations if you start comparing stuff. So definitely scary, but at the same point, you know, if you truly are a Christian, it's not quite so scary.
Jesus told Lot when he was put out of Sodom, "Escape for thy life, flee to the mountain." That counsel is certainly applicable today. That's it for this edition of Prophecy Now. I'm Hal Mayer, reminding you to keep the faith.
Hey, I'm Larry, and today we want to give you an inside look at what happens at Remnant Publications. We're going to start with Steve at the shipping department. You ready? Let's go! Steve has been working in the Remnant shipping department for about 4 years now. There's a lot of books at Remnant, and whenever an order comes in, Steve carefully gathers them all together. He keeps the books very organized so he can find them quickly. And he really enjoys what he does. For him, it's not just a job, it's a ministry. After the books have been weighed, they're boxed up and shipped out right away. Now this is really exciting. You're looking at over 500 boxes filled with Spirit of Prophecy books. Steve is taking them to the mail truck, where they will be shipped out to places all around the world. Some days the Remnant staff spends time stuffing envelopes. Today they're stuffing over 8,000 of them. Most of the employees of Remnant say they feel like they're working with a family and not just another company. I guess not everyone likes to be on camera. Well, there you have it. That's an inside look at what happens at the shipping department at Remnant Publications.
Let's take a trip through Remnant Publications and see how a book is made. We begin in the pre-press room. Computer technician Tim Yeager begins by loading a large sheet of emulsion-coated aluminum into the developing machine. Suction cups pull the aluminum sheet into the machine. Then a special laser head etches the emulsion side of the aluminum, leaving behind only what's needed for printing. It comes off the roller, and a lifting rack brings the exposed sheet onto the other side, where special rollers guide it into the developing stage. Chemicals wash away what the laser exposed. Out comes a plate ready to be used on the printing press. Nate Reed, the pressman, loads the plate into the two-color press. Ink is then applied to the print rollers. A thin coating of water helps the ink not to stick to the printing plate where it's not supposed to. Several suction cups and a pulling mechanism keep the paper flowing into the press. This press can print out 7,000 sheets per hour. This press is called a two-color offset press, and the printed sheets are called signatures. From the press, the signatures are placed on the folding machine, where they go through a series of slots. Then they get folded in several ways. Watching this machine is really cool. The next stop takes us to the saddle stitcher. This machine starts by placing the folded signatures together on top of each other. As they continue down the line, the book covers are dropped on, and the next step is where the high-speed stapler stitches the cover and the pages all together. After being stapled, they continue down the feeder belt, where they go through the chopper. There, the excess paper gets trimmed and cut off. Another process for bigger books is the binder, but before we get there, we need to cut some covers down to size. Now that's sharp. The first stage of the binder trims the pages and puts hot melted glue on the spine. Rollers help the glue to go on evenly. The cover gets stuck to the back. Then they are folded and pressed into the spine. This whole process is done in less than 10 seconds per book. Now that's impressive. After a short trip on the conveyor belt, they come to the last stage. This machine is my favorite. It's called the 3-knife cutter. It's similar to the chopper at the saddle stitcher, but you can really see what this one is doing. After getting cut and trimmed, the books are done and ready to be shipped. Now you have an inside look at how books are made at Remnant Publications.
It's rather ironic in the face of our economic situation with so many layoffs that I'm actually actively looking for workers in my vineyard. That's right, I have a world of searching souls with many walking hopelessly in spiritual circles, looking for direction and finding no one to help them. Where are my sowers and reapers? The harvest is ripe, but the workers are few. I'm telling you that those who sow for my sake, for my kingdom, will reap everlasting life. There is job security when you work for me. Why not get in the employment line?
If you'd like to contact Hal, which I'm sure that you will, you can get a hold of him on the website at www.ktfministry.org. That's for Keep the Faith Ministry, ktfministry.org. Or give us a call at Remnant Publications at 1-800-423-1319. Well, that's all the time we have for today on Bible Alive. And remember, you too can have a better way of life. And what? Don't put it off.
By working together, 1.7 million copies of The Passion of Love were distributed around the country, resulting in an unprecedented partnership with Walmart that led to over 1,000 Bible studies. By working together, over 6 million copies of the 10 Commandments twice removed were shared around the world, resulting in more than 20 churches now keeping the Bible Sabbath. By working together, we have shipped almost 1 million Bibles to spiritually thirsty Christians in Africa, touching the lives of 20 million people for Christ. Working together is what allows Remnant Publications to spread truth-filled books around the world to hasten the Lord's coming. Will you join us in that mission? Will you help us reach the world for Jesus, one book at a time?